No way. Rodrygo to Arsenal. Look, initially I was going to ignore this story. It's been around for a couple of weeks, but I just thought you are dreaming. But there are more and more reputable journalists who are coming out and saying, no, look, this is actually a possibility. And in fact, Arsenal are exploring this. And there is actually a deal that could happen. So I want to bring it to you guys because it is so interesting. I want to speak about Eze as well and kind of how, if these deals happen, it transforms a part of Arsenal's attack that is so crucial to us breaking down these teams at times when we are struggling. We're going to speak about it. Before we do, though, you know the drill. Look, my name is Jed. And before we get into it, if you could help me out by hitting like and subscribe before I get into the video. So I want to speak about Rodrygo. And I want to start with asking you a question. It looks like there might be a possibility where Arsenal can actually sign him from Real Madrid. But it might have to be on a loan with an obligation to buy. Does that make you feel uneasy, or are you just saying this is Rodrygo, bring him in? Because if he comes in and he's not that great on a loan with an obligation, then you have to buy him no matter what. But for me, it is 100% worth the risk. So I want you to let me know in the comments section. Rodrygo, loan to buy, would you accept it? This player would be brilliant for what we need. Arsenal struggle on that left-hand side. Now, we do have players who can do so much great things on that left-hand side. And I know people get frustrated with it because if we're all being honest, the left-hand side for Arsenal probably is a weak point. Martinelli's good at certain things. Trossard is good at certain things. But we don't have that winger that is good in every area. Like, Martinelli is good at carrying the ball into a certain area. When you're in that certain area, Trossard probably has the attributes to, I don't know, have that quick feet to get past the player, and he has good finishing. But we don't have a player with all those attributes rolled into one. And I think that's exactly what Rodrygo would offer this team. So if we can go out there and there is actually a chance of us getting him, I would say go and do it. Why don't we start acting like the big team that we need to be? And look, we've had a great transfer window. I'm not saying if we don't get Rodrygo that this transfer window has been a disaster. We've seen the players we've signed. We identified problem positions in this Arsenal team before the summer transfer window started, and we went out there and addressed it. We've bought Gyokeres. Brilliant bit of business. Arsenal have needed a striker for so long, so you go out there and buy the striker. The central midfield position, we had Jorginho and Partey leave. You go and buy Zubimendi and Norgard. Again, we was weak in defence. Well, not weak, but we needed that depth. And you go and get Mascara to replace Tomiyasu. And that left wing now is an area of the pitch where we're saying, look, we need something different. We've got Madueke who can play there, and we saw him in the last game. But ideally, that's probably a backup to Bukayo Saka, and we still need that left winger who's going to start every game. And if there's any chance for us to go out there and sign Rodrygo, I think we absolutely have to do it. Because, look, we know we struggle with that low block. Rodrygo, the Brazilian, like, he's so good in those tight areas, taking players on. His dribbling stats are very, very good. And that's exactly what Arsenal need. Like, we play out to the wings a lot. Some people say Arsenal are too predictable because all of our attacks seem to go out wide. There's not much that penetrates through the middle because we don't have those penetrating players in those central midfield. Now, I think Odegaard can do it, but he more times than not looks for a pass before he looks to take a couple of players on and looks for the shot. Eze, if he comes in, he's the perfect guy because in that kind of, I don't know, left centre of the pitch, if you get Eze in that area, that's kind of the moment where he shines. You've got Declan Rice playing there, but he's probably better further back, progressing the ball into that area. And then you need a player like Eze to grab the ball and kind of do something with it. So although Declan Rice is great, I still see him as a more defensive number 8 than he is an attacking number 8. Now, he will still get goals. He still can play that position. He's continually improving because it doesn't come natural to him. But if you've got a player like Eze, who as soon as he picks up the ball in that area, he's thinking, showtime. This is where I shine. And he wants to take on 1 or 2 players, get into the box and then get his shot away. That's not Declan Rice's game. Declan Rice is great at so many other things. He's better at so many things than Eze. But when he gets the ball, say just outside the box or 30 yards outside the box, he isn't known for carrying the ball, dribbling past 1 or 2 players, taking it into the area and having a shot. Now, if the ball breaks to him, trust me, Declan Rice will get a shot away, and we saw that last season. But when he is past the ball in that area of the pitch, he's not someone who wants to dribble past players. Rodrygo would offer that on the left. Eze could offer that in the middle. Bukayo Saka offers that in the right. And then you've got Gyokeres up front who just wants the ball to be played to him. So if you give it to Rodrygo, give it to Eze, just pass the ball to Gyokeres and he's the type of player who will finish it off. I think if we get these 2 players, I would be looking at the Arsenal team and saying, now you are favourites. Like, so far, like I said, we've had a great transfer window. But there's Liverpool who were already better than us last season because they won the league. And now they've strengthened, and people would say they've probably strengthened more than us. It's certainly in terms of monetary value. Look at the players they've bought. They're so close now to signing Isak. If they get him as well, like, they've strengthened key areas of the pitch. And they've got now one of the best strikers in the league. They've got the best right winger in the world. They got Ekatike up there. They got Szoboszlai. They got Florian Wirtz. Their team is very, very good. So Arsenal, if you're looking at it, you're saying, is that left wing of Arsenal's Trossard or Martinelli? Can you see them competing with those players of Liverpool? Some people would say yes. But some people would say if you can level up that position, then I would go for it. And that's exactly what Rodrygo would be. Look, Trossard and Martinelli on their day can be fabulous. We've seen what Trossard could do. We saw the price we paid for him, and he was an absolute bargain. Martinelli 3 years ago, he was incredible. But these players would need to go up a considerable amount to be at the level of Rodrygo you would expect. Like Rodrygo, if he comes in, he automatically upgrades that left wing position. Eze, if he comes in, he automatically upgrades that area of the pitch where we currently struggle. That's why we're struggling with low blocks, because we're getting the ball out wide, and we've only got Saka, who is actually comfortable in taking players on, but then delivering that final product, whether it be the shot or the across or the assist. You've seen his scoring stats. You've seen his assist stats. That's because he's capable of doing it. You're seeing Trossard and Martinelli, who are having okay numbers at times, but nothing incredible, nothing like Saka's. If you get a Rodrygo come in, can he offer you that same level of numbers on that left-hand side? And that's what we need. And then you need a player in the central area who can have that amount of goals. Because if you're looking at Declan Rice, he got, again, a fair amount of goals, but how many of them were free kicks? How many of them were set pieces? How many of them are scoring on the back post on a corner, which we saw last season? How many of them are actually taking the ball, dribbling past one or two players, getting it into the box and then scoring? And I just think that is exactly what Eze could do. It opens up different areas of the pitch for this Arsenal team to exploit. And that's what you need. You need as many players that offer different qualities. Because if you are playing Liverpool or Man City at home, at their home, then you're probably not going to want to start with Eze. You might want to start with Declan Rice because he is more solid defensively. Different games will call for different players, like different horses for different causes, I think the saying is. Some games you can use Eze, some games you can use Declan Rice. And again, with Martinelli, you might want the defensive work of Martinelli. So in a game like Liverpool or Man City, Mikel Arteta might opt to use the defensive qualities of Martinelli. I'm not saying that's necessarily what I would do. I think this Arsenal team, if we go out and get Eze and Rodrygo, you could probably turn up to any stadium and say, I'm not worried about how they play. They should be worried about how we play. Look at the front 4 or 5 we could have. You could have Odegaard, Eze, if it's not Declan Rice. You could have Declan Rice and Eze, or you could have Nwaneri and Eze, and then you could have Martinelli or Rodrigo, and then Gyokeres, and then Saka. How many options does that give this Arsenal team? If Saka's not working, you can bring him off after 60 minutes and play Madueke. You want as many players as you can, world-class players, and that's exactly what you would be adding to the squad if you bring in a player like Rodrygo and Eze. And if these reports are true, saying that Arsenal could go in with a loan, but there has to be an obligation to buy, sign me up. I'll sign the paperwork tomorrow. I'll go and pick him up from Spain. I'll drive there and grab him. This is the exact type of profile that Arsenal need. If there's Arsenal fans who were maybe upset about the signing of Madueke, and I don't mind the signing of Madueke, there is no way you can be upset about the signing of an Eze, as the signing of a Rodrigo, Gyokeres. This transfer window could be unlike anything we've ever seen. If we go out there and secure Eze and Rodrigo, I could be pushed to say this is our greatest transfer window of all time. Let me know your thoughts. Would you go for the Rodrygo deal if it's a loan with an option to buy? Let me know. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a quick favor, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.